I guess the program doesn't really need an introduction. अब लता मंगेशकर को कौन नहीं जानता? Everybody knows her. Everybody knows their songs. Now you must be wondering आज क्या होने वाला है आज के program में? कि कोई गाना गाने वाला है, कोई कुछ बजाने वाला है, क्या होने वाला है? Well, we're going to play clips of songs and we're going to talk about the songs. Now the songs span over 7 decades, as you know. तो 2.5 घंटे 3 घंटे में सारे गाने तो कवर करना मुश्किल ही नहीं नामुमकिन है, as you all know. So you know, if you all really like the program and if you get good feedback from you all, we are already planning a part 2 of it, because we've been working so hard on this and you know trying to figure out कौन सा गाना लेना है, कौन सा नहीं लेना है, क्या छोड़ना है, ये अच्छा है, ये अच्छा नहीं है, अच्छा नहीं ऐसा तो है नहीं, लेकिन ये उससे अच्छा है. You know, when it comes to Lata Mangeshkar, it's like that. ये उससे अच्छा है, फिर ये उससे भी अच्छा है. So you know, there is no limit to the greatness of her songs. For this very very special program, and we have 3 very special guests here. उनका introduction देने से पहले I can assuredly tell you that there is nothing about Indian film music that between the 3 of them they don't know. Perhaps individually there's everything that they know, but all 3 put together, so there's nothing that they don't know. So without any further ado, let me invite our 3 guests on stage. I'll start with जो थोड़ी दूर से आए हैं, वो बॉम्बे से आए हैं. He's a telecom guy. He used to work in the telecom industry once upon a time, but now he's an entrepreneur himself. And his love and passion for music, well, you'll see it yourself. But he not only follows music, he's also been putting out a lot of music for all of us to enjoy and watch. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Achisman Mazumdar on stage, please. Please come. Please come on. So there you can see his YouTube channel is there, which has amazing stuff, lots of rare stuff, popular stuff. He himself loves a lot of classical music. Please have a seat. So that's our first guest for the evening, Achisman Mazumdar. What about our second guest? Well, second guest has come from very far, from a place called Karanzalem. But don't go by from how far he has come. Well, what can I say about him? Apart from that, Archie has also interviewed and met all of them. Between all of them, as I said, not just knowing about music, they've met and interviewed right from Pandit Ravi Shankar to Dilip Kumar to, of course, Asha Bhosle, Lata Mangeshkar, and so many others. What's also great is they've also met and interviewed the musicians who played with them. So the devil always, as they say, lies in the detail. And so these kind of details that these people have dug out and they're going to share with us this evening. So I was talking about the gentleman. Well, as I said, he's interviewed Pandit Ravi Shankar, he's met Asha Bhosle, interviewed Asha Bhosle more than once. He's a fantastic accordion player, and despite all our requests, he turned down a request to play the accordion today. But he's promised that he's going to do it next time, and which we are definitely looking forward to. But over the years, I mean, he has met so many people, and his knowledge again is just quite amazing and quite incredible. Also, interestingly enough, he is a doctor himself. There you can see Asha Bhosle showering his love to our next guest. And there you can see again with his mom. There you can see Doc. We've never seen him with a tie and that kind of a shirt, but those were the days. The date there is very significant because on that date she was recording Lekin, which Doc will tell you more about, and that's when he met her. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Chandrasekhar Rao on stage. So Doc, as I said, is a doctor, and once upon a time, he actually studied in this very place here and did all kinds of experiments. So if you hear some strange sounds coming, no, I'm just kidding. Doc, please have a seat. So Achisman Mazumdar will refer to him as Archie, and Dr. Chandrasekhar Rao will just call him Doc, as many people know him here by that name. Our last guest, well, kahan se shuru kare aur kahan khatam kare? Let me start with a nice interesting anecdote. A very famous actor in the country, एक बार उन्होंने ट्वीट भेजी कि ये मेरी बाबूजी की कविता है करके, you know who I'm talking about. So our third guest here is so knowledgeable, he politely said कि sir ये आपके बाबूजी की कविता नहीं है, ये किसी और की कविता है. And that gentleman had to politely take down the tweet and correct himself without really acknowledging that, as to who corrected him. Then I remember another incident which I myself saw on Twitter, that there was a discussion going on. Shabana Azmi was talking about some old movie, I don't know whether he'll remember it, And they were discussing इस फिल्म में ये एक्टर था या वो एक्टर था ये. So our next guest, he said नहीं ये एक्टर था, इसमें ऐसा था, इसमें ऐसा था. So Shaban Azmi said, are you sure? And there were 20 people who pounced on her. They said, you don't ask Pawan Jha if he's sure. If Pawan Jha has said it, it means it is like that. And I was a witness to that. And well, इनके बहुत करीबी एक दोस्त है, शायद आपने उनका नाम सुना होगा. उनका नाम है गुलजार. उनके बहुत करीबी दोस्त है. As you can see, a very young Pawan Jha there with Gulzar. He's been Gulzar's associate and a good friend for a very long time. Meel Ke Patthar, that is a book which Pawan has very recently published. It's a 1.2 kilo book which has tons and tons of information and knowledge and wisdom as well about cinema and so much more about music, about cinema. There you can see. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Pawan Jha. So the other interesting thing about Pawan is he runs a very interesting, among many hazard things that does. By the way, he's a technocrat and he was one of the architects of Aadhaar. Technically, he was in that department. So he's like doing some coding one moment and telling somebody about some Asha Bhosle song the other moment, and all kinds of things. So he runs a Facebook page called Not by Gulzar. तो आपने WhatsApp पे रोज 4-5 दिन में एक शायरी आ जाती है कि whatever हंसता तो मैं रोज हूँ मगर खुश हुए जमाने हुए गुलजार साहब. And as I said, between the three of them, there is nothing about Indian film music and classical music also to a large degree, which the three of them don't know. Let's have a big round of applause for them, please. Yes, so there were two milestones there, in three of them rather, but two very major ones which Pawan will tell you about.
It's a pleasure to be here and especially to pay tribute to one of the best anchors of the life. There hasn't been a single day since I have found my senses, or any of us have found our senses, that we haven't heard this voice. This voice or the fragrance around us. This is not a voice, this is a fragrance around us. So we pay our tribute and we are really happy to be here. And especially when Sachin, though Sachin used to open for India, but he has given that charge to me. So especially we start with those two moments which were highlighted in previous slide. Actually there were three prominent moments there. Imagine a girl with 4 more siblings, younger ones. And the father left them forever at the age of 12. When she was 12, so she became the head of family, the bread earner for the family at the age of 12. A girl child. That is Lata Mangeshkar, because her father, Dinanath Mangeshkar, who was a musician, who was a very popular musician, unfortunately he passed away, and Lata Mangeshkar, the baby Lata, had to take the charge of the family with 4 younger brothers and sisters. And imagine that girl child passing through a phase of struggle and becoming the voice of the nation. You can call it destiny. But destiny is not made like this. There's an entire spectrum of you can say struggle, the struggle that you face to get that particular growth, to get that particular stature, to get that particular respect. And imagine an industry where that girl child dominated that industry like a queen, which was a male dominated industry. And she brought respect to the industry, to the females of that industry, and the kind of respect and the kind of stature Indian film music got through Lata Mangeshkar. If we look back, that you cannot have anyone else in her place to take that credit, to give that respect to Indian film music. Films were, as you know, up to 30s and 40s, they were not supposed to be a very respected medium or profession. But when Lata Mangeshkar took the charge, and she became the queen in that male-dominated society. Imagine a year of 1946 when the leading producer, Chandulal Shah, rejected her voice. When Khemchand Prakash told his producer at Ranjit, Chandulal Shah, that I have got a new voice, and she said, no, this is not that. If you remember, in those days, most of the popular voices were Noorjahan, Shamshad Begum, Amir Bai Karnataki, Johrabai. So Lata was quite a distinct voice, quite a thin voice. So the producer rejected that this voice won't stay in the industry. But Khemchand Prakash had that vision that this girl, will certainly one day she will rule the industry. And he resigned from Chandulal Shah's Ranjit Talkies. And then he gave her break in a film called Ziddi, jiska we have just seen that song, Chanda Re Jare Jare. If you don't remember that song, so there's a popular version that came into a very popular film called Padosan, where Kishore Kumar sang that particular song, Ka Ga Re Jare Jare. It is the same song. So it was a Kishore Kumar's tribute to his guru Khemchand Prakash, and who was also the guru of Lata Mangeshkar as well as Manade. So Manade assisted Khemchand Prakash. So Khemchand Prakash gave the break. But before that, before becoming that singer, Lata Mangeshkar had to face a bit of problem. There was a phase when at the age of 12, 13, she has to face the camera as a child artist to earn the bread for the family. And we have just shown, if you can go back to that particular slide, there's a newspaper cutting of March 6, 1943, which shows the premiere for a film called Pehli Mangla Kaur. March 6, 1943 was the date when Destiny wrote the name of Lata Mangeshkar that was on print in the newspaper, of course as a side actor, of course as a child actor, but it was for the first time. But Destiny had some other ideas to take that name to some other highs, and from there, so after that you have seen a clip where there's a girl singing, that is from a film called Mazebal. So in Mazebal, and if you see that clip again, all the Mangeshkar siblings acting in that particular song. There's a Asha Bhosle, hardly 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old. Hridaynath Mangeshkar, hardly 2 years old. There's a Usha and Meena, I think, is there. So you can see all the Mangeshkar siblings, not as a singers or musicians, but as an actor, for earning bread for the family, because they were really working hard. They were really facing the destiny. But this is what destiny had in store for you, that we all are remembering her today.
Just to give you all an idea about this program, it's not just to take you all down the memory lane and make you all nostalgic about it, but also to give you all a lot of information, especially a lot of undiscovered songs as well, a lot of gems, which we'll share with you all later, because we know the main songs, the prominent ones, which everybody knows, but they have a knowledge of so many songs which are relatively unheard, but yet are great songs. The other thing is, at any point, if you all feel like singing, please sing. If you all feel like clapping, please clap. If you feel like whistling, yes, we also have a small quiz, as I said, for you all later on in between it, before we, but right now let's get the ball rolling. Yes, so please clap, please sing, please whistle, and maybe some of you all might also need a handkerchief in between. You'll figure out as we go by, You might remember your old days, because 7 decades, which is And also for all the gentlemen who grew up in the 60s and 70s, when you see Nutan and Sadhna and Wahida Rahman and so many others on stage, well, make sure your heart might just keep a heartbeat. So just take care of that. When we were talking about Lata Mangeshkar getting a break sometime in the mid-40s, these were songs only till 1955. In 10 years, you know, this is what she achieved. There's much more. This is only what we showed you all. Effectively, what Lata Mangeshkar did probably in 8 or 10 years, most singers, at least contemporary singers, most of them, they can't achieve in their whole lifetime. You know, that's the kind of work that she did. But yes, two gentlemen have something nice to say about the songs. Let's start with Barsat. Of course, the famous RK logo also came from the song that you all just heard. Mujhe kisi se pyar ho gaya. But what else do we know about these songs?
So I think it's a new nation. You know, people wanted to hear a new voice, and here was this new voice. And you just said that this is till the mid-50s, this medley. That means 48 to 55 is 7 years. You also mentioned that she had a 70-year-old career, 70-year-long career. So this is just 1/10 of her career in terms of time period, and such timeless songs. I don't think any other contemporary singer in Bombay, also India, has risen to the top so swiftly as Lata Mangeshkar has. I mean, she started off as a child actress in 1942. She hated donning the grease pen. She didn't like being an actress. She always wanted to be a playback singer. And she worked her way determinedly to all the studios to meet up with, you know, composers of merit like Ghulam Haidar and Khemchand Prakash and so on and so forth. And she got her break in 1947-48. Ziddi, we heard Chanda Re Jare Jare. And then the iconic song Aayega Aane Wala came. And from there, once she rose to the top, I think she remained there for the rest of her professional career. That you don't get to see at all in India. I mean, you have Mohammad Rafi, Kishore Kumar, Asha Bhosle, the key singers that we're talking about in terms of popularity. They have all risen to the top, but so swiftly and so assuredly nobody has. I think that's something which we must accept and acknowledge. I saw quite a few Nargis songs, and Barsat, of course, is Nargis and Raj Kapoor. And as Pawan always tells me that Barsat is something of an iconic song in the sense that Shankar Jaikishan's music, you know, it's flamboyant, it's a broad canvas music, a lot of orchestration, the treble of the recordings high, all that, and Lata Mangeshkar's voice, the perfect treatment. So many songs in this entire soundtrack of Barsat. Yes, Pawan, you wanted to say something?
As I started with the word destiny, that played a major role. So, if you see the earlier part of the 20th century, we see 4 major icons who were child prodigies. One was Bal Gandharv, another one was Kumar Gandharv, the other one was Master Madan and Lata Mangeshkar. All of them started at the age of 8, 9, 10, 12, and then went on to become icons or reach the highest stature in their own particular domain. And unfortunately, Master Madan couldn't survive beyond 14 years. He died in 1942. But Bal Gandharv, Kumar Gandharv, and of course Lata Mangeshkar, all 3 of them reached to a particular destiny, particular highs of that. And somewhere, Barsat was indeed a destiny for not only for Lata Mangeshkar, a destiny for Hindi cinema and a destiny for Hindi film music. Because with Barsat, we saw an entire fresh lot of creative talents that came together as a destiny. Imagine Raj Kapoor, Shankar Jaikishan, who got break with Barsat, Shailendra, Hasrat Jaipuri, Mukesh, Lata. These creative talents came together for the project called Barsat. It became a major hit in one of the first hits of the independent India. And the kind of change it brought in the Indian cinema, it started taking Indian cinema, Hindi cinema from villages to the urban side of the nation. And in fact, if you see the progression of India, especially the independence India, And you can see that you can see that through the lens of cinema. That 30s and 40s cinema was more focused on the villages, but once Nehru launched in the independent India the 5-year plan and how actually India progressed to the urbanization and to it moved, it had a migration, it had a partition of cultures and religion, it had a partition of borders and land, but it also had a partition in terms of the cinema changed its language with the new flag bearers. Like Raj Kapoor was one of the new flag bearers, then Bimal Roy, Rishikesh Mukherjee, all those continued after that. But Barsat became a landmark film because it was kind of a first big milestone and coming together of so many talents. And they brought a fresh energy, and not only that, the Goan musicians, since we are sitting in Goa, so the guys like Sebastian and Chick Chocolate, they became the primary drivers of the orchestration in Indian film music. And that changed the language of our film music also. So with Barsat, you can see there is a significant change. You can find there's a freedom in terms of orchestration. There's a modernization that you can find a bit in terms of the treatment of the songs, in terms of the subjects of the films. So Barsat was a destiny for a lot of people. So Barsat, that's why became a landmark film, and that is why it also became, this was the first film where Lata Mangeshkar's name appeared on the record. Prior to this, there was, for the mostly unknown singers, the record companies used to carry only the name of the character that portrayed and carries that song on screen. For example, the iconic Aega Aane Wala, if you see the records of those times, so you will find the singer name is Kamini, not Lata Mangeshkar. Why? Because Kamini was the name of the character of Madhubala in that film. So there was no tradition of carrying those newer voices. The established singers used to get their names, but not the newer voices. So Lata Mangeshkar fought for this and got her name printed on the Barsat record. So there are so many, you can see breaking of barriers that started with this group of talent. And we'll keep talking about them, but talking about Barsat was very important because it started a new chapter in Hindi cinema and in this Hindi film music, of course.
आपने म्यूजिक और अर्बनाइजेशन का जिक्र किया है. इनफैक्ट इवन इन अदर आरके फिल्म, इफ यू रिमेंबर, श्री 420 का जो लास्ट शॉट है, दे आर वॉकिंग इनटू सनसेट, बट आफ्टर दैट दे कम टू अ प्लेस वेयर देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स एंड अ न्यू सिटी is being built, kind of, you know, new houses are coming up. That's the absolute last shot.